おはよう。私の名前はオタクのお母さんです。今日はジブリの英語について話します。Today, we are going to be talking about Ghibli films. Ghibli was, for me personally, my introduction into anime. And when I was a kid, one of my favorite movies to rent when we still went places and rented movies was Kiki's Delivery Service. And when I was young, I didn't realize that Kiki's Delivery Service could have been the gateway into a whole larger array of content for me that I am slowly coming to discover later in my life. So to start off this video, I kind of wanted to sort of rate my favorite Ghibli films of the ones that I actually have the pleasure of owning. And then we were going to take a can you guess the Ghibli film based on this screenshot quiz so we could see how we do with that. But first, we're going to rate the movies. So, like I said, first and foremost, Kiki's Delivery Service. I rented this movie every time we went to the video store when I was probably 7 or 8 years old with my dad, because that was one of the only things my dad was capable of doing, was renting movies with us. And I loved it. It never got old. And I just recently got the opportunity to buy it again and share it with my husband and my son, neither of which had ever seen it. And by the end of it, they were crying. It affected them so emotionally that, and it became one of their favorites too. So I was very happy to be able to do that for them. So first would be Kiki's Delivery Service. Next, I would have to say, probably the one that a lot of people say, Spirited Away. Spirited Away is probably one of the most magical film experiences I think you could ever have if you are one of the few people on the planet who has yet to see it. Find it, locate it, find an otaku friend, take it from them, and watch it on repeat. Because this is also a movie that never gets old. Chihiro is the hero that all stories need. She's got the biggest heart of any character I've ever seen, and she saves everybody. So that would be number 2 for me. And go out, watch it, be free. The next one, because the other movie that I loved as a child was The Little Mermaid. My mother is very fond of telling the story of how I ran the tape out on my Little Mermaid VHS. If you're old enough to remember VHSs, you know what I'm talking about. So the fact that Studio Ghibli made their own sort of interpretation of Hans Christian Andersen's story of The Little Mermaid, I had to see it. This is one of the only Ghibli movies I've had the opportunity to see in theaters because it came out when I was old enough to take myself to the movie theater. And I love it. My son loves it. My husband loves it. I personally think, as an adult, that this is a better retelling of Hans Christian Andersen's Little Mermaid than poor Princess Ariel. I mean, I love Ariel to death. She'll always be my girl, but Ponyo is definitely my adult favorite for the Little Mermaid story. And, Sasuke's unending love for his little goldfish that he found at the edge of the ocean is, I recommend it to everybody. So that would be number 3 on my list. And then last but definitely not least, because it is adorable and I love it, would be My Neighbor Totoro. Because, I am a mother, so it is a very family-friendly movie. And you get to see kind of the general life struggle in this movie. Their mother is sick, and their dad seems to spend a lot of time away. So they're, with the neighbor a lot, they're by themselves a lot. And so they just kind of get to exist in this magical world of forest sprites and cat buses and just amazing things that especially in a time like now where the world is very scary and everything is bad. You definitely need a magical adventure with a character like Totoro in your life. So that would be number 4 on the list of ones that I personally own. But now to the fun part. Now we're going to take this quiz and we're going to figure out how well we actually know Ghibli movies. So, early industrialization meets magic in this Studio Ghibli film. That would be Howl's Moving Castle. And here we are with Spirited Away. We have Chihiro and the mouse and the bird and Haku flying over the river. Oh no, I don't know if I saw this one. A magic crystal leads a young boy and girl on the journey of a lifetime in this film. Oh, it's either Castle in the Sky or The Wind Rises. Castle in the Sky? Yes, winning. Because I have seen the box art for Castle in the Sky. Castle in the Sky ties itself back into Studio Ghibli's first film, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, through the use of fox squirrels, which appear in both movies. For the studio, this animal representation represents the difficulty of domestication. All right. Oh, and here we are with Totoro and his leaf umbrella and the two sisters jumping higher than any person has ever been able to jump ever. Oh, because he jumped. That's why. I remember that now. My neighbor Totoro. Oh, how well do you know this fantasy film that sets itself in a unique period of Japanese history? It's definitely a unique period of history. This would be Princess Mononoke. Her face paint and ever angry expression is very hard to miss. This is a movie that I would love to own, but every time I go to try and buy it from someplace, I can never seem to find it because everybody already wants to own it. And here, my favorite movie of all time, Kiki's Delivery Service. Coming-of-age story in which award-winning film depicted in this image. Kiki's Delivery Service. Oh, no. A new brand of Japanese aircraft comes to life. The Wind... I think this is The Wind Rises. I think. Yes! Was marred by controversy, particularly in the United States after its release in 2013. That's because it tells the story of Jiro Horikoshi, the Japanese engineer who designed the deadly Mitsubishi 85M for use in World War II. Well, you know, I can understand why that would be met with a little bit of controversy, but it is a part of history, and, you know, you can't gloss over all of history. Oh, no. Who are you? The success of which film, shown here, launched Studio Ghibli? I think this is Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. I think. Yes! This movie I have seen once, many moons ago. I would also like to own this one. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind pulls plenty of inspiration from European culture, including the name Nausicaa, which is derived from Princess Nausicaa in the Odyssey. All right. Ancient Greek, her name means burner of ships. Cool. Yoshifumi Kondo was brought in to direct his first Studio Ghibli film when he crafted which drama represented by a screenshot here? I think this is Whisper of the Heart, because I've seen the box art for this too, but I've never seen it. Was the only Studio Ghibli film directed by Yoshifumi Kondo before his untimely death due to an aneurysm in 1998. Oh, that's sad. His death caused Hayao Miyazaki to retire, as he had hoped Kondo would be his successor. Oh, that's very sad. I didn't know that. Oh, and here we are. Were you a big enough fan of this Studio Ghibli film released in 2008 to correctly select its name? Ponyo. Abandoned new animation techniques and CGI in favor of traditional animation for Ponyo. That means each frame was drawn by hand. Hayao Miyazaki choosing to draw the ocean waves himself. That's interesting. Yeah, they'd had some of the most beautiful water I think I've ever seen. That tells a tragic story of war. This would be Grave of the Fireflies. Another movie I've never seen, but I have heard it is a war story, and I've heard it's very good. So, yes, departs from most war-driven films by depicting war as a force of nature rather than a creation of man. Interesting. Bombs, for example, fall through the sky like rain as the fire from their destruction tears through the land like the wave of a tsunami. All right. A manga of the same name inspired which film? Oh no, what are you? The Cat Returns, I think? I'm going to take that clue from all the cat butt that I'm currently looking at in this picture. Yeah. Brought in Hiroyuki Morita to direct The Cat Returns, making it only the second feature film from the studio directed by someone other than Hayao or Isao. Morita had previously worked with the studio as an animator on My Neighbor the Yamadas. Okay. Do you recognize this film that broke tradition for the studio by targeting adults rather than children? Oh, no. Who are you? Tales from Earthsea? I don't think it's The Secret World of Arietti. Ah, no. For the ending theme song of Only Yesterday, Studio Ghibli translated The Rose by Amanda McBroom. The English version of the song was a #1 hit on many charts, which included a cover by Conway Twitty. Interesting. Okay. Can you identify this movie that was influenced by a series of fantasy novels by Ursula Guin? No, I can't. Who are you? I like her hair. Could this be Tales from Earthsea? Yes! Was directed by Hayao Miyazaki's son Goro and caused quite a dispute between the two. Hayao had wanted to direct the film himself, but was already involved in Howl's Moving Castle, so the studio gave his son his first directing opportunity. Due to the dispute, the two did not speak for the entirety of the production. Wow. Inspired by the manga The Age of the Flying Boat. Porco Rosso is what this is. I think I've seen this one too. Only once. Was the first pure comedy film released by Studio Ghibli, as most films from the studio always had a feeling of desolation sprinkled into them. Despite its comedic elements, Porco Rosso relied on darker tones in the animation. Yeah. Studio Ghibli implements plenty of comedy into this animated film. Oh, I don't know what you are. Oh, no. Ocean Waves, Pompoko. It might be Pompoko. I don't know. Oh, yep, okay. It's derived from the sound that tanuki, Japanese raccoon dogs. Japanese raccoon dogs? What? When hitting their own bellies. I've heard the term tanuki, but I didn't realize they were raccoon dogs. These animals are the subject of the story as they try to stop a government project that will destroy their habitat. Oh, I like that. You'll be able to identify this film that breaks away from the animation style traditionally used by Studio Ghibli. Now, this is My Neighbors the Yamadas, which I have also never seen, but seen the art for. I don't even think I've ever heard anything about it. In a series of vignettes, My Neighbors the Yamadas tells the story of the Yamada family. The film captures the relationship of the family by relying on an animated style that resembles a comic strip. Well, I like that. Yeah, that brings to life the secret lives of tiny people. Now, this is on my list of movies I need to watch, and I know what it is because it came up on Netflix. It's The Secret World of Arietti. Perspective is used to give the animation in The Secret World of Arietti a unique feel as it shifts between the normal people and the tiny people living in the house. When the tiny people, the borrowers, venture out, everything changes from the size of objects to the sound of simple noises. I believe it was based on the story, The Borrowers, because there was another movie, I believe, under that same name. Oh, I don't know what you are. How well do you know this historic drama based in 1963 Japan? Oh, The Theory of Evolution, from Up on Poppy Hill, I think. It isn't plot-driven, but instead it is driven by relationships. It accomplishes this, I can read, I swear, by setting itself in a unique period in Japanese history. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know what this is. I truly don't. Recognized as the most expensive film from the studio. What? May and the Kitten Buffs, The Tale of Princess Kaguya. Aha! Gets its inspiration from an ancient Japanese narrative called The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter. To capture some of the true feelings of Princess Kaguya from the original's tale, the film broke away from a really realistic art style. Oh, okay. It's pretty art. I like it. 88th Academy Awards. Oh, no. I'm discovering slowly that Studio Ghibli put out more films than I was even aware of. Oh, I don't know what this is. After When Marnie Was There was finished and released in 2014, Studio Ghibli announced it would be taking a break from filmmaking after several lead figures left the company. As of the start of 2020, it's still the final feature film released by the company. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Two friends get caught in a love triangle after a new girl comes to town. Water Spider Monmon, The Night of Tane Yamagata. Ocean Waves? Alright. By the early 90s, Studio Ghibli was already trying to find a place for its younger animators to make a name for themselves in the company, so they decided to put together Ocean Waves. They had hoped the film would be produced cheaply, but it went over budget by the time it was finished. Oh no. Oh, select the name of this film that was released theatrically alongside Whisper of the Heart. Oh no, I don't know what this is. Okay, we'll take a hint. Peace? No. For a song by Chage and Asuka, a Japanese rock band. The music video incorporates their song, which carries the same name but has no dialogue. Okay. Mr. Doe and the Egg Princess, Treasure Hunting. One of these just has to be Ghibli's, right? Like, I can only imagine. Unless that's the red herring throughout the entire quiz. Aha! There we go. Studio Ghibli created Ghibli's to air during a television special about the studio. The short film incorporates personalities from the studio and addresses what work life is like at Studio Ghibli. That's cool. Monto Watanabe brought his drumming skills to which film shown in this image? Ghibli's Episode 2. Here we go. We're getting them done. When Ghibli's Episode 2 originally came out, it was released in theaters alongside The Cat Returns. It was later included as bonus content on Ocean Waves. Oh, that's cool. This is May and the Kitten Bus. They released a sequel to My Neighbor Totoro? What? I mean, it's got to be May and the Kitten Bus. Brought back Japanese voice actress Chika Sakamoto to voice May, who also appeared in My Neighbor Totoro. Wow, okay. Influenced by surreal artist Nahisa Inoue, familiar to you? No, it's not. It's not even in the slightest. Hoshio Katahi utilized aspects of surrealism. Okay. Inoue had previously helped Studio Ghibli on Whisper of the Heart. Alright. Of the short film based on a short story of the same name. I think one of them has to be this. The Night of Tane Yamagata. Here we go. Running 27 minutes. The Night of Tane Yamagata is one of the longest short films released by Studio Ghibli. Unlike the other short films from the studio, it was released on DVD in Japan. What are you? You're pretty. Art and paintings come to life. Treasure hunting. Giant God Warrior appears in Tokyo. Treasure... I knew it had to be one or the other. Iblar Jikan relied more on its animation, which was inspired by the artwork of Nahisa Inoue. Okay. Oh, what is this nonsense? They're bunnies! How well do you know this film where two new friends try to escape the grasp of an evil witch? Dore Dore no Uta, Mr. Doe and the Egg Princess. Mr. Doe and the Egg Princess. The Harvesters by the 16th century painter helped Hayao Miyazaki develop the idea for Mr. Doe and the Egg Princess. The painting was one of Bruegel's most famous. Okay. What is this nonsense? What are you? Oh, Shinji Higuchi to create this short film. I wonder if this is Giant God Warrior appears in Tokyo. I can't imagine it being anything else. It looks like a Giant God Warrior. Yeah, it was the first live-action... I didn't realize they had ever released a live-action film. Relying on practical effects, it draws inspiration from the traditional tokusatsu productions like Godzilla. Okay. All right. With this film that tells the story of a new being's introduction to life. Could this be Boro the Caterpillar? Kusuno Kaitachi no Naka. I don't know. Dori Dori no Uta. Yeah, Boro the Caterpillar. Originally started drawing sketches for Boro in the 90s in hopes of turning it into a feature film, but it was never picked up by the producers. After his retirement from making feature films, Miyazaki decided to dive back into animation. Okay, that's cool. You are weird looking. Who are you? Name this film inspired by music from Capsule. Could this be Peace? Sora Tuba Tobu. Peace? No. Space Station number 9. It was one of 3 short music videos created for the band Capsule. What? Alright, I'll take that. 79%. You got 26 correct out of 33. You scored better than 37% of quiz takers. Cool. And I would say only a few of them that I got right were general guesses. I mean, I used kind of evidence for a couple of them, like Giant God Warrior appears, but that's interesting. Well, I learned, like, a lot about Studio Ghibli that I didn't know. Like, there were a lot of films that never made it over to the States, really. I'd be interested to see these little cartoons, the Ghiblis. Alright, well, we learned something. I learned I'm apparently a true expert. I'm better than 37% of all the quiz takers who've taken the quiz. So I'll take that as a win. Every day needs a little bit of a win these days. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I had fun. I learned something. I hope you might have learned something too. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye.